All right. Hello. Welcome to the newly resurrected season 6 talk show with only Vaughn, as my two other buddies have gone on to the afterlife, Fug in grad school and Ash just with being Heartstuck Plat. So, looks like I'll be taking over in our fresh take on the talk show. So, I'm going to invite anyone here, by the way, while I go through this talk show. I'm going to be having a lot of probably controversial opinions. I know, shocker. So if at any point, well, at any point in the analysis, if you want to come in and tell me why I'm wrong, feel free, lads. I will be sitting in the meeting room voice chat of PCup, and anyone's able to join meeting room. It's open. However, you'll be muted when you start, and I'll be selecting people that join when I mention certain points to have a discussion with. So yeah, without further ado, let's get it started because we've waited long enough, haven't we? Oh, and the piano just dramatically is over. So all right, we're out here. And as always, if there's any problem with the stream, please let me know. I would love to adjust mic quality, image quality. Just let me know if there's something that I can do, and let's get started. So first, I wanted to talk about playoffs in general, right? So we finally got our playoffs. It was looking a little rocky for Vortex at times, and also the second seed was definitely thrown into consideration. But this is what it's looking like going into the next week. So how the talk show is going to work tonight is I'm going to tell you what I'm going to talk about actually. So first, I'm just going to go through all the playoff teams very briefly. We all know playoff teams, so I'll talk a little about what I individually think, and you guys can decide whether you want the scuffed opinion or the objective opinion. After that, I'll be giving out awards to individual players and teams. After that, uh, I'll be naming my peak up all teams, which are the top players in each position, sort of like they do in the NBA or in the LCS at the end of a split. And then I'll finish the show with doing my own pick'ems bracket for the season 6 playoffs. So let's get this shit started. At 6 seed, we have our boys Vortex with the cleanest logo, honestly. So Vortex had a really rough season. To put in perspective for anyone who's just now, not following all the teams in P Cup, we had a lot of roster swaps, and some of the starters actually stepped down. Notably Man Walrus and Kurama, who is still on the bench though. And then we've got Rexalis, Canthus, Sendilian, iGlory, and Loker. And I wanted to draw attention especially to Sendilian because he's looked like a monster on high pressure mid laners like LeBlanc and Echo. And whenever he's in the game, Vortex looks like they have a clear win condition. So I really like whenever they sub him in because I actually feel like there is some wind under their sails. When they use the roster they used their past week with Loker back in the jungle position and a new support, potentially just a one-time sub, and Kurama back mid, even though that was more of the team that they stormed to a 8-1 or 9-1 record with last season, it just looked like a thing of the past. I don't know. So I'm hoping that in playoffs I can get proven wrong because I feel like Vortex is the weakest team going into playoffs. I feel like a lot of the players have had less than stellar performances compared to last split, especially because Loker and Rexalis were two of the top performing members in the entire league, especially Loker. And I do like Loker's role swap to support. I can respect someone role swapping to support. I'm not going to name names, but I think that his voice on the team, now that Isan has stepped down, is super important. And I mentioned this in the very first talk show, actually, but I know when a big shot caller of a team gets um, steps down, it really is difficult to figure out what to do as a squad of 5. And so I think Loker's step towards support was in the right direction because we saw once they had done those roster swaps, Vortex started to look a little stronger than their 0-2 week start. So since that, they've actually gone 4-3, so they have a positive record. And so we're gonna have to see how far Vortex goes, but definitely look out for Sindelian if he is playing because he has looked like stellar. 16 kill performances on things like Echo as well. So we're gonna see what goes on. And then in the 5th seed, we have whatever you want to know them by. They're currently bad boys, but one of Twitch chat and also Prophecy Cup's favorite teams over the past Lord knows how many seasons they've been doing this now, 4, 5, I'm not sure. And as always, Leading the charge is Charlie Smells, Daehun, J Radius, El Toxico Gringo, whatever you want to call him, but without the doubt, one of the best performing solo laners, if not the best solo laner or best player in the tournament, is definitely him, especially on picks like Xerath. Even though Bad Boys have actually not even won a game with him on Xerath yet, that doesn't mean that they won't stop picking it because he is an absolute monster on that champ, as well as plenty of others, right? So he's got a completely diverse champ pool, and that team I feel like every single one of their wins, it's Charlie Smells leading the charge. So the rest of the team actually is slightly different than we've seen. We see Josiah as always in the top lane, and Ropey, or now Kink or Treat, which I'm a pretty big fan of the name change for Halloween. T Crank as always, stable captain. Love him, by the way, council member. Big fan. And then new support Memo, who is had some really notable play on Thresh and Morgana. So actually, I had Bad Boys as a team that might not even qualify for playoffs because before their series in Week 8, they were actually 0-4 against teams that were in the top 6. So they had lost every single series before their match against Vortex against any playoff teams. They had lost against s.a.d.b.o.i.s, they had lost against Yeehaw 5, they had lost against Baby Shark, and they had lost against Sentinels. No, not yet. I'm sorry, not Sentinels. What's the team I'm forgetting? Yeehaw 5. I already said that. Baby Shark, s.a.d.b.o.i.s. Sorry, they were 0-3. Counting's really hard for me. So they were 0-3 going into Week 8 and Week 9, and they had Vortex and Yeehaw. No, Vortex and Sentinels. And while they lost to Sentinels, they did secure the win over Vortex to make sure that they weren't 6th seed going into the tournament. So it's going to be interesting to see if teams can successfully adapt to the Bad Boys playstyle. Also, I'd like to see more of Japan Cakes, their jungle sub, because I've really, really liked his play on carries. We saw him play Lee Sin earlier in the season against the Sad Boys, and we also saw an Evelyn come out against one of the relegated teams. I can't remember which, and he looked really stellar on those. So I think the different playstyles that the team can have with those two separate junglers are different, and if that squad explores their options by switching out their junglers, I actually think they could have a potential upset against their first round opponent, which is Sentinels, the team that imploded almost as hard as the leftover lads. So Sentinels had a juicy 5-1 record going into the second half of the split, but then fell to a 6-3 game record after playing back-to-back-to-back series against other playoff qualifying teams. So we got to see a slightly more vulnerable side of Sentinels when they were matched against opponents that weren't just rolling over against them, which provided a much more rounded view of their team. While it feels like none of those games that they lost were necessarily stomps, or I should say series, none of the series, I feel like most of them were 2-1s if I remember correctly. It still showed that there are exploitable aspects to the team. And I'd like to really point out Pickaxe because I feel like he has been the most stable performer over the whole split. I feel like his anchor presence in the mid lane gives his team a lot of stability. I think his willingness and flexibility to play a lot of different picks also lends itself to let Sentinels have these team comps that they really succeed on compared to other teams, which sometimes you see them run even triple teleport, which is a sign of how much they've practiced as a team. A lot of other teams in PCUP don't have the cohesion that they do, and even with these recent losses that have shown some sort of gaps in that excellence that they showed in the first half of the season, they've come all the way from play-ins getting it off of disqualification, and they ended with a 14-8 game record. And I think that's incredibly impressive. And at almost every position, they have a top caliber player. Now that Karaoke, aka Weiss Schnee, is their starter, um, that's a top 3 top laner in the league at least, if not top 2 or even top 1. We'll see how playoffs go. So I expect Sentinels to do well. I don't know how far they'll make it exactly. It really depends on how their team's cohesion is going, because I know there have been some internal issues, let's say, and you don't always have to be friends with your teammates to win, but it's nice to get along with them a little well. So we're going to have to see if those synergy issues and chemistry issues are going to be too much of a problem for Sentinels, even though they have a really, really stacked roster of mechanical players. So change the stream title or I quit. I can't change the stream title. By the way, Jacob, thanks for the tier 1 sub, gamer. You're such a baller, bro. Yeah, I don't have permissions on this channel, so I actually can't change the stream title. Thanks. I only have the stream key. Baby Shark's 3rd seed. The team I actually predicted to be number 2 going into the split just fell short of second seed to the next team at second seed, which was Yeehaw 5. So Baby Shark, in my opinion, has looked like the strongest team other than s.a.d.b.o.i.s. And that's mainly because they have I would argue, the strongest jungle mid duo in the league right now in Overate and Hamlet. I think that the synergy and communication between those two players is really crucial. You see a lot of times in early game, Overate can do some interesting jungle paths mixed with plays in the 2v2 around the mid lane and also the neutral objectives and early jungle entrances with Hamlet. And a lot of times that gets them those early leads that then use to propel into the mid game and win off of really, really strong 5v5 fights. I think they really excel at that. While not necessarily a lot of their players are, like I said, for Sentinels, some of the most mechanically adept, and I would say especially their ADCs, while effective and useful players, I don't think anyone would say they are the number one or number two best ADCs in the league. I really like how they have an almost Cloud9-esque strategy where they sub in Rhino for a game and they'll play a specific style and they'll pick him utility champs, usually like Sivir, it used to be Varus, and then they'll sub in Astralis and they'll completely change around how they play around bot side. Granted, Afro the Giant is a Smurf on Thresh. If you play Baby Shark, like pick ban that shit. They're 6-1 when Afro the Giant is on that pick. He's nuts. Afro, I love you. Nice Thresh. And then the only economy top laner other than Kyoshi Provoli actually has looked really good on tanks. I haven't really seen him on anything else noteworthy, but he does his job effectively, which is be an 8-point top laner that can frontline and, be an effective tank in a 5v5 engagement. So I'm actually scared of Baby Shark out of all these teams the most. I'm excited to see what happens for them in the playoffs. I really would like to see them in the finals. Granted, I make the finals, of course, which might not happen, but yeah, I definitely think Baby Shark is a extremely scary team, just as scary as the second seeded Yeehaw 5, which is really just pretty much IRL sluts now. Like, let's be honest, it really is. Also, seriously, guys, your emote, it's so small, I can't make it not blurry, but it's quite literally last season's IRL sluts with Knight of the Zed. That's about it. That's really it. And what that means is it's members of the team that won last year with an upgraded jungler. That's what that means. Okay? Literally the season 5 champs with a better jungler. Huh. Interesting. So anyway, I said that. Whoa, boys! It says fifth seed. That's supposed to say second seed. Sorry, Yeehaw 5, you're second seed. Dyslexia is tough. So Yeehaw 5 is the second seed after clinching it by a one-game margin, 14-7 to Baby Shark's 14-8, and that was off of some really strong performances against other playoff teams, which I really like because Yeehaw 5's record might be the same, but their losses were against Busaders. Shout out to Busaders, by the way. Woo, Busaders. And I also think maybe GT Not Canon. I can't remember exactly. The point is, a lot of times Yeehaw's losses were against those weaker teams, as I felt like they were trying to figure out their limit tests. Like they almost lost against Guardians of the Rift before they got their upgraded roster. I feel like there was a lot of figuring out the playstyle they wanted because the roster was sort of shifting a bunch over the course of the season. So we'll see. We've got the toxic top lane Kingdom Wonder Kyoshi, who has been honestly the most consistent performer on that team. I think Kyoshi has looked phenomenal this season, and for the points he is, it makes him the best bang for the buck on the entire team, and that's including Season 5 MVP Knight of Zed and Smoking Gun Socratic. The fact that Kyoshi is the most consistent player on Yeehaw 5 is just a testament to the amount of play he's had on stuff like Urgot. He's had some really great solo performances, even those hadn't turned into necessarily game wins. And also we've seen the willingness to still play tanks. We've seen him bust out the Ornn, we've seen him bust out the Gnar, we've seen him bust out the Sign a couple times. We've seen him also bust out the Victor. And I feel like we'll see that again as playoffs go in because he seemed like he was really competent on that champ. And even though there was a slight nerf, I still think the pick top is really effective. And this is just an all-around terrifying roster. Really the only point of contention is Hide on Blake because he is, out of all the mid laners currently left in the playoffs, I would say he's the weakest. He's also the least amount of points, and you have to really sacrifice points to get sure to make sure you have Secretic on your team, because he's worth something like 34, which is ridiculous. But if Blake can play well in his comfort picks, like he's looked really good on Ari. He's looked really solid on Ari this season. So I'd really like to see them default to those picks that he's been able to succeed on and let Kyoshi run wild in the top lane. And if Knight of Zed can keep the bot lane ahead, Secretic always is able to translate a lead when he has one. And the synergy between Secretic and Nahor is pretty good after they, crushed it in playoffs together bot lane. So expect to see this team to have some really, really hype matches. Like, I don't know who's going to win when they go up against, I'm going to assume Baby Shark in semis, but by God, that'll be entertaining. And then the last team, the student athletes demonstrating brilliant organizational and inspirational success. Wow. Whoever came up with this team is probably extremely handsome IRL. It's me, thanks. And now we've got some slight additions to the starting roster or swaps. So after Et Omnia Vanitas came in during halfway through the season, the s.a.d.b.o.i.s decided he would start as their starting top laner, and he's looked really, really, really solid in top lane. Like, honestly, some really good performances, especially the last week of the season. If anyone watched the series, he played incredibly well against GT Not Canon, effectively shutting down their hopes at getting that last playoff spot. And then in the jungle is my actual personal MVP pick for the season, which is Chandler, or Seathor as you know now, IRL Enjoyer earlier in the season as well. He has looked insane on any number of champion picks. It feels like no matter what teams try to pick against him in the jungle or what they ban against him, he's always able to bust out something and drop 10, sometimes 20 kill games on picks like Talia, picks like Graves, picks like Xin Zhao. Even Kha'Zix every once in a while gets busted out, like in the series against b.o.i.s, where he got, I think, another 20 kill performance. And then the mid lane is Lost in Rotation, the man who's updated the stats. Round of applause, please. Thank you for updating stats. He is undefeated on Galio this season, if I'm not mistaken, and also has put out some really mean performances on assassins like Akali and LeBlanc, so I think that flexibility is really cool in the mid lane. ADC is Binto, 20 points, by the way. ADC is Binto, everyone's non-controversial, completely vanilla attack damage carry that is of no need to discuss. I don't know. He's probably just like nothing. In support, it's me. I mean, I'm probably the best support. Like, it sounds facetious or like egotistical, but I feel like my performance this split has been really good, and it's part of the reason why both the ADCs that I've played with have the highest DPM and are worth the most like fantasy points out of anyone else. So yeah, I'm fucking sick. Yeah, so s.a.d.b.o.i.s 8-1. We killed it. Vortex was the only team to beat us, so shout out to Vortex, Sandillion, Hard Smurf. So we'll see what happens in playoffs. So that wraps up all the teams. So now we're going to go to the next section of the talk show, which I can't remember what it is. Okay, it's the award show. Lads, get hyped for some awards. Let's get hyped for some awards. Hold on. Wait, hold on. Clown theme. Circus theme. These look scary. I don't like those. Here we go. I hope this isn't copyrighted, by the way. Ah, here we go. This is exactly what I needed. Alright. Fuck. Scuffed, by the way. Alright. First award goes to Sentinels for being the biggest drama queens in P-Cup. They had roster implosions and yikes, like little petty squabbles in general chat. I love this. My favorite part of it was Pickaxe's screenshot to DTS when he subbed in and he said, "My team does nothing. Enjoy the free win." A really big fan of that. Really, really big fan. A special shout out to the top laner, whose name I'll never try to pronounce, and also Collinator for spearheading that. And also shout out for Piki Lote for being the team mom and trying to keep it all together. Alright, next is the Spamming in General Chat Award, which goes to Yangsu for being homeschooled and nothing better to do. So shout out to Yangsu. I don't have the exact stats, but as he's watched Spider-Man for the 280th time, it's pretty apparent that he is the one who talks most in general chat, and we've all got to really enjoy listening to him whine about how his teammates are holding him back from Plat this season. Next is the b.o.i.s. They gotta win, guys. They gotta win. I'm really happy that Nova didn't have to 1v9 the entire season and not get at least one W. So, real big congrats for being the most liked team to perform the absolute worst in my entire time in Peak Up that I know of. So, big congrats to the members of the Busaders. Hopefully, I get to see you guys again next season. Hey, Nova Typhoon, if you're looking for a team, make sure you decay and then you can join s.a.d.b.o.i.s. Thanks. Next, this goes to Jacob as the person who put out the most fires or emergencies throughout the season. Actually, 1v9 council member, by the way. Literally does it all. Literally hosts every fucking stream ever. Handles all the VODs. Handles the main doc. Handles publicity. Handles PBR. Wait, PBR. PR, sorry. Our little boys take a little sip. Yeehaw. Of my PBR here. But yeah, Jacob is 1v9 and honestly does more than anyone else. Like, literally. I mean, Fug didn't do any of his jobs. Like, Talkshow died, Stats died. Rimsky is, like, busy with IRL. Big XD on that, so, like, he doesn't do anything either, but, like, yells at me that I don't do my job. I don't do my job. Honestly, I can't even remember any of the other Vortex. I mean, Vortex. Loker's on there. Yeah, he doesn't do anything. BSG League, remember that, guys? Bronze, Silver, Gold League. Omega LOL, by the way. That didn't happen. And then shout out to Tori. I can't blame Tori because she just joined and she's like doing her best. So, Tori, you're pretty cool too. But yeah, Jacob definitely was the council member who actually did something. Oh, and T Crank did a really good job of scheduling. Hey, good shit, T Crank. All right. So our next award is to Guardians of the Rift because literally every single day I would wake up, read the newspaper, and then go to pick up drop to see who the fuck changed their roster that day, and it would always be them. Woohoo! So I'm pretty sure they had a roster swap on average like every 3 days, and I got really, really tired of having to read about it. So literally they had more people inside of them on their team than like a frat girl last Halloween weekend at a party that I went to. So like, congrats, I guess. Congrats. All those roster swaps and you got what, like 7th or 8th? Woohoo! Good job. You did it. You pretty much had more roster swaps than the place you received in the regular season. So I hope it was all worth the effort. All right. Next is, oh, whoops. Nope. Sorry. Last award goes to Twitch chat in general for spelling it perfectly every time. Shout out to Mango, Werpack, Gasp, and the other people on that team. But great job. I'd like you guys to give yourselves a round of applause there in the chat for always spelling it. That's all I got for that. Can't really explain more on this meme. Yeah, so that's going to conclude it for the awards. Nice. We've now awarded it up. Wait, now I don't have my other music. It's actually doomed. That's okay. Well, this is the serious part, so we'll, wait, let's get some hype shit. Hype shit music. Hype shit.
Peace. They call me Sleuth Pro.
Yeah. Wait, this might be, oh no. All right, we don't want to get flagged for copyright, so just imagine some really hype music playing. All right, lads? Oh, it's not over. Oh, Colin, it's not over. Please. Whoa, what's that award? All right. Anyway, now we're getting to the more serious part now that we've had our for fun section. I'd like to talk about my personal picks for the top members of Peak Up in terms of performance. And when I chose the all Peak Up teams, I had a couple of things in mind. The first was the individual player's performance. The second was how many games they actually played for their team, and then related to the second one was the third, which was how did their team do in and of itself. So even though if there was a really solid player on a bottom tier team, their performance isn't really translating into wins, and even though it's not necessarily their fault every time, it is a team game, and your play and your communication will contribute to your team's performance. Still not scuffed enough. You're not wrong, pal. So, without further ado, production quality, by the way, let's start with the third team. This is my all Peak Up third team. This is when I'd love to get roasted, by the way. Feel free to join VC at any point to talk to me about this, and I will happily entertain you. Let's start with top. Top laners suck. You guys suck, okay? I'm sorry. It's literally like there's one clear-cut top laner and then all the other ones, except for Omnia. But Omnia came in late. So I've started in the top lane with Roxas because I thought that Ahem. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by Twitch chat. I'm waiting for people to roast me, but I'll just keep powering through. So Roxas actually looked like a monster on Leftover Lads, like solo killing laners. Like I know that team is kind of a meme, but like he stuck through their performance, and I watched almost every single game that they played. I thought he did well every time. Or almost every time. There were very few times where I felt like he was the worst performing top laner in the split against his opponents. There were very few top laners. Usually, the only top laners that I felt like he did not outplay were the ones I put above him. At third, then I put Knight of the Zed, which I'm sure, oh my God, the most unanimous MVP of PCAP history at third. Let me talk to you here. Let me say two things. K. Kona, Kentucky. His internet hard gatekeeps him. Hard gatekeeps him. Like it's the reason why his team didn't make it through plans. I also felt like teams this season, after IRL sluts sort of set the precedent, realized that if you ban Graves and Talia, while he's still an insane jungler, like he's actually so good, he got a 10 kill performance on Olaf against the s.a.d.b.o.i.s. His effectiveness is diminished, not by much, but I feel like those S tier picks when they're off the table. Um, I feel like he just does less for his team than the others. And also, seriously, the internet is such a big issue. Like, I'm not joking. That's why. In the mid lane, I have Pickaxe, actually. And I mentioned Pickaxe earlier when I was discussing Sentinels, but I really do think he's been one of the most consistent performers the entire season. I've really, really liked that. Something that you'll notice in these ratings is once I start moving up, you'll realize that some champs, sorry, not champs, some players are missing. And that's because I value consistency over peaks. So there's going to be a time when you're going to think, wow, I can't believe this mid laner isn't on Vaughn's list. That's because I always value steady, solid performance other than a pop off but coin flip player. So I think Pickaxe is really essential here. I think a lot of Sentinel's play revolves around him. Not necessarily he's the main carry all the time, but he's a large facilitator in what the team needs to do. I know he's a very vocal mid laner. I also know he can play a plethora of champs. I've seen him play supportive things like Galio. I've seen him play carries like the Urgot that's his most played this season. So I think that's really, really effective. So moving on is Collinator, who I actually didn't know if I'd be putting on here because I wasn't sure if he was retired. His retirement lasted even shorter than Nahor's, so yeah, you're full of BS. I had to throw in Jin at the end, honestly, just because after I commentated the last game, his Jin was sick. I don't know if it's his third most played, but I just threw that on there anyway because I was into it. Kaisa and Heimerdinger are rounding out his top two most played as well. He's had some really nuts performances. The first half of the season, he honestly looked like he could he had the potential to be one of the best ADCs, but again, as they played those stronger teams, his bot lane pairing with Liquid in fourth started to meet some stronger opposition, and it showed that when push came to shove, they couldn't always dominate. They had like the lower ones. So anyway, moving on, Liquid in fourth is actually my third support. I think Liquid in fourth is so good. I actually think he's so good. He's so slept on. Nobody ever talks about this guy. I think he's insane. I think the plays that Sentinels make around Liquid in fourth and off of Pickaxe are so good. I think this guy is so nuts. I really want people to hype him up more. His Thresh, by the way, he just busted out for the first time last week. Had a middling performance. He's insane on that champ, by the way. And also he's undefeated on Alistar and Taric. Granted, he hasn't played Taric since like week 3 or week 4 when that champ was actually somewhat relevant, but that still doesn't diminish the fact that he's 3-0 in the champ and 4 or 5-0 in Alistar now. I lost count. The point is, hey, everyone in playoffs, don't let Alistar through pick ban. It's that simple. The champ is OP. So that's my third team going down. To refresh, it's Roxas from the Leftover Lads, Knight of the Zed on Yeehaw 5, Pickaxe, Collinator, and Liquid in fourth, all on Sentinels. So now I'm going to be going to the second team. And again, if you ever want to chat, if you think once I'm through all of these, if you have someone that you think was more deserving of the number one slot, feel free. But we're going to be working up from here. So now we're going to get to the second team. Brrr, boop. Second team, we see a lot more familiar names here. On the second team, I've got Omnia, Overrate, Hamlet, Secretic, and Afro the Giant. So, first of all, Omnia is my top laner, so I'd like to talk about that. First of all, Omnia, one loss on Sion? I can't remember. Whatever. The point is, I see Overrate raging in chat. Overrate, you're not the better jungler. Get over it. Anyway, Omnia is yeah, Olaf, by the way. By the way, you like hard smurf on Olaf. I watched all your Olaf games for this. Your pathing is nuts, by the way. But regardless, so Omnia Vantas, has looked better and better as he subbed in. I don't know what happened to my old top laner Cardinals. He like dropped off the map. He's actually dead, I think. I don't know what happened to him, but Omni has looked like a very solid presence in the top lane. Really, really solid. After his first couple weeks that he subbed in, he has put out monster performances. And then the jungler that I have after that is Overrate. And I think Overrate is one of the best players in the league, without a doubt. I think that the plays that he makes alongside Afro the Giant, the team, it feels like revolves around them. In the sense that they might not always be calling everything, like it might be Provely sign alting in without any fingers and starting the fight, but I feel like everything revolves around those two players initiating and pulling the team to these fights to succeed in them. I think a lot of times his early game and his performance on a plethora of different champs. Like he's even busted out like Camille. He played Nidalee one game. He has a lot of different champs he's played, Graves and Talia as well. I think that the versatility and also the like leadership he brings to Baby Shark is what makes him such a good team. And then, like I said, Overeem and Hamlet are the best mid jungle duo in the league. I think that they're the best mid jungle duo in the league. I don't think they're the best mid or jungle performer this season, which is why I put them on the second team. I don't know if they're better players, but for this season, their performance I put as two because I think Hamlet is slightly eclipsed by the player that's going to come next. But I've been really impressed with Hamlet because when I joined last season, I was the mid laner on IRL Sluts, and I remember Hamlet had some pretty like middle of the pack performances, and that was when he was really sticking to his comfort picks. Like we still see the Kennen, which I really do like him playing. But we would see like the Talia mid and we'd see like the Corki mid all the time, and it just felt like he was inhibiting his team's success with his pool. And so what I've really really liked seeing this season is he's played things like Vel'Koz, he's played things like Orianna, he's busted out the Gallia now, he's busted out the Zillion, he's busted out the Ari, and all these different picks let Baby Shark play so many different play styles. It just feels impossible to try to nail down Hamlet, and he's finally worth the points that I feel like he should have been this whole time. I feel like Hamlet is a solid pick. If I didn't have a mid laner, I would go for Hamlet 100% of the time. He feels like such a team player. I've never personally played on a 5v5 team with him, so I can't speak to his communication, but I think what he brings to the table is insane. So I think Hamlet is one of the best mids to watch out for. I think his performance has been nuts. The only reason he's not number one is because the number one mid laner just feels like he's the best performer individually in the league so far in solo lanes. So in bot lane, I have Smoking Gun 1.0. Smoking Gun 1.0. 1.0, by the way. Secretic. So anyway, Secretic has looked like he's human this season actually. When we saw him in playoffs, he did not lose, he didn't drop a single game in playoffs. I forget what his KDA was. I can't tab out and look at my notes because I didn't think this through and they're on my computer. And also the stream is on my computer, so I don't want to bring up my like leaked docs. But I can't remember what his KDA was in playoffs last season, but I'm pretty sure he only died like a couple times. And he had something like 50 kills, 50 assists. And so this season, though, we've actually seen him slightly more vulnerable. Granted, he's at a revolving door of supports, so it's hard to look as good when you can't build synergy with the person that you're dependent on in lane. But I've really noticed that despite Socratic popping off, if he falls behind in lane, it's not often that he can transition into that later game stage to become the carry that he really can be. Like I feel like if he falls behind in lane, usually it's because of the 2v2. I'm not saying his individual play is the cause of it. It's always a 2v2 matchup, correct? I feel like when Socratic is falling behind, it's because he and his support aren't clicking. And when Socratic falls behind, a lot of times he's on scaling champs. So the game ends before he's really a factor in their losses. So in playoffs, you're going to have to watch if Yeehaw 5 can keep their bot lane long enough in the game. And I think a different upgrade is Nahor as the starting support. I think they've played something like four different supports for IRL 2.0, aka Yeehaw 5. And I think that Nahor and Socratic really do work well together. I also think Nahor is the best support that they've had on that team this season. So we'll have to see what their bot lane does, but we'll have to wait until semifinals to see what happens first. And then the last, I have Afro the Giant because Afro's Thresh is so fucking clean. Afro is so good mechanically. I think he's a really good player at starting engages and also getting picks. I think that's the best thing that he brings to the table. He has a good balance of being aggressive and then also passive. He knows when champ power spikes happen in lane and he knows what the limitations of his picks are, and he also knows how to play around his ADC. Like he and Rhino have a lot of experience together, and I think that's really impressive though. Um, so answering your question, you know what doesn't make sense, Vaughn, is that you say Ham and I are on the second team, but best duo in the league. So wouldn't you want your best duo on the same team? I mean, you are on the same team. You're both on the second team. I just feel like individually, the jungler on first team and the mid laner on the first team are having better performances this season. I feel like that was, pretty well explained, but I'll say it again though. Anyway, so after the Giants nuts, sorry to break that off. And I really do like how he's able to play with two different ADCs and adapt to both of them individually. I think that actually should be talked about a lot because, well, like I mentioned earlier, the Cloud9-esque approach that Baby Shark is taking, I think I can't stress enough how impressive it is that Afro can accommodate two different players and play around them to support them in their own unique playstyles. I think that enables both Rhino and Astrus really well. So anyway, it's time to go to the first team. Dun, 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 dun. Wait, shit. Honorable mentions. Sorry. Honorable mentions. So I'm going to clarify this is not fourth place. This is not a fourth place list. These are players that I couldn't include on this list, but I wanted to make points about. I'm going to start from the top. First is Karaoke. Reason why I can't put him in the top laners is because he hasn't played enough games. He just became a starter, right? I can't put him on there. Sorry, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. But when he has played, he looks so strong. If he has been playing all season, based on what we've seen, I would put him at like number two easily. And number one, if I really could watch him all season, I think he adds a carry threat that Sentinels lacked in the top lane with their old top laners. I don't even remember the first one they had, but it was like tank player after tank player. And while they like fit the mold, and Karaoke is the opposite of a tank player, let me tell you that. I think he adds more to the team with his carry potential. And we saw that especially in the last series they had of the season against s.a.d.b.o.i.s, where he just rolled over Poseidon and just hard carried. So in the jungle, I have notification is Nova Typhoon. A special notice to Nova Typhoon because he played his fucking heart out. Even though Buceters went one and whatever, I thought he was nuts. He played so well consistently. Eventually, though, like as the season went on, I think there was sort of just like a decline of interest because we started seeing some, let's say, out of meta picks like Vi, which we also seen Vortex play, but I just don't think that that's indicative of his pool. He'd also play like Nunu a lot just to get teams to ban it from him, but the champ's terrible. So apart from those like interesting picks, I think he is so effective at neutralizing any abilities that the enemy jungler brings to the table. And I don't mean just their champ abilities, but I mean like the unique strengths that they give. It feels like you just run into a brick wall with Nova. He's always there to counter gank your lane. He's always there to contest a neutral objective. Like he's always there setting up a play for his team to succeed on. Like I feel like at least for half of the season, Busader's games were only close because of him. Later, as the season went on, the team started to find a cohesiveness as the roster swaps stopped happening, and I feel like their solo lanes especially started to take more and more onus of, hey, we can win these games. We don't need Nova to do it all. But on God, this man just carried the backpack across the Sahara with some of his performances this season. So then I wanted to talk about Sandillion as well because I mentioned Sandillion when I mentioned Vortex, and he just now became the starting mid. But similar to Karaoke, he just hasn't played enough that I can put him up there yet. And again, like I said, I always value consistency over peaks. So I would also put Babs here. I think Babs would be appropriate. However, I feel like he would either pop off or he couldn't do much. Maybe he feels differently. And he also swapped around in a lot of teams. So that's why I didn't feel comfortable rating him because I couldn't get an accurate sense of his individual play. Like, yeah, he could like he would have insane games, right? I'm not diminishing the player's individual skill. 20 kill games, that's no joke. Like the guy's nuts. But I just couldn't get an accurate read on how effective he was. So Babs isn't the number one mid. You're wrong. Sorry. So Babs is also another honorable mention here. Next is iGlory. I feel like out of all the Vortex players, that played all season, that he was the most consistent. I feel like he would generally turn out lane winning performances. He would play the micro game really well. He has some pretty good positioning, but it just wasn't enough to get the W every once in a while. So anyway, I'm gonna put that there. And then the last one is actually Odenex, which I feel like he flies under the radar a lot, but when he joined the Leftover Lads, he like completely changed the game for them, and they started really winning before their roster blew up, by the way. But he is, I think, 7 points, and also he's a god at Bard for his role, which I think is pretty fucking sick. So anyway, the point is now before I reveal the number one team, I didn't put any subs. I didn't put any subs in my top three. They needed to be starters and they need to have the most games played. So I won't put anyone like DTS. I won't put anyone like Mighty Mead. I won't put anyone like any of the other subs that you might be thinking of that are really, really solid. I will only put the guy who played the most games on the team on there, except in the case of Liquid and Fourth, because they just had so many different supports. I was just like, I gotta pick one, and he's looked so good. So anyway, first team, here it is. You might agree with me, you might not. I honestly don't really care. In the top lane, it's Kyoshi. I mean, this one feels like the most obvious out of all of them. I don't know. I feel like this goes without saying, right? Like he's so few points. He always wins lane. Solo kills all the top laners in the league. Carry performance. Honestly, I don't think he's had a single game where I've seen him do poorly. So I'm definitely biased because my team went 8-1. So usually the best team has some of the best members, which is why they perform that way. So anyway, the jungler, who I think is the MVP of the season, is Chandler. Uh, the guy's insane at all sorts of champs, and I already waxed and waned about him when I went over all the teams. So I think Chandler deserves that. In the mid lane, I put Charlie, and I understand a lot of people don't think he should be up here, but when Bad Boys wins, it's all him. And when Bad Boys loses, it's all him. He's 1v9 either way. If you just watch the last series they played, pretty sure he went 8-1 and 12 and then like 5-0 and 3 and two losses. Like it was all him. He's the top of the damage charts. He's the top of whatever, etc., 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 etc. So, anyway, Binto is the ADC because now he has played more games than Dev. He has more games. You can check the stats. They're all updated. We would know how many games Pinto had played if we had the stats regularly updated, but Lost in Rotation just finished the Week 9 stats tonight. Pinto actually has the most games played on the s.a.d.b.o.i.s, so I'm putting him at the number one slot. He is the highest earning fantasy point earner out of all players in the entire season, which I think speaks to, if not all his play, at least some of it, because he's churning out high kill, low death performances every time, and he has shown that he can play different ADCs and different playstyles with different team comps and just fit seamlessly in every time. He busts out the Misfortune against Collinator's Heimerdinger that hadn't lost yet. He's busted out a couple other picks as well, but he's looked really solid every game. There hasn't been a single game that he's not performed well on. So, interestingly enough, wow, who would have guessed I put myself number one as support? Whoa. I feel like as the captain of the team that goes 8-1 in my individual performance, I feel like I was the number one support. My vision score was really good, higher than everyone else's on support by like a significant margin. And it feels like when my team drafts, we heavily prioritize bot lane because we have confidence in the 2v2. That's all I'm going to say about my own self. If you disagree with me, whatever. Feel free to talk to me about it. Anyway, we've got another thing. But yeah, who would have guessed that the team that went 8-1 would have the most players on the first team? That's wild. Whoa. Anyway, final section here. Afro, they do leave you on a giant. They leave you on an island, pal. I can't wait to eat you up on that island, though. All right, last section is actually my personal predictions for the playoffs. So I don't have necessarily a pick'ems bracket per se, but I'd like to go. Oh shit! I'd like to go individually, series by series, and talk a little bit about it. First one is Bad Boys versus Sentinels. I casted Bad Boys versus Sentinels. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I think it was yesterday. I casted it yesterday and it was a slaughter. It was a slaughter. It was disgusting. Granted, game one was really close, but then game two was over real quick. And I think Bad Boys has been inconsistent, to say the least. 8 of their 11 wins or eight, at least eight. I'm almost positive it's eight. Eight of their game wins over the series are against the bottom four teams, which only leaves like two or three against the playoff teams. So they struggle against teams that have an established identity and have strong players. And I also feel like Sentinels, off of Pickaxe's performance, can neutralize Charlie Smells enough in lane that even though you know he's going to get a lead, it's not enough for him to put Bad Boys over the top of Sentinels on his own. I think that the bot lane for Sentinels 2v2 is a stronger matchup, and the pool for Liquid and Fourth allows them to be much more flexible. I also think, without an answer to the Heimerdinger, that free ban that Culinary gives his team, similar to Hjarnan on G2, gives Sentinels a lot of flexibility in the draft. And I also think the biggest mismatch of potentially the whole playoffs is Josidon versus Karaoke. And we saw that in the series. That series difference was Karaoke. Karaoke destroyed on Aurelia, destroyed on Aatrox, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that's going to be a 3-1. It depends on, again, Sentinel's mental and how the rest of Bad Boys comes to the table. Because I can see this being an upset, but I put the odds at like 80-20. Let's move on to the other quarterfinals match, which is Vortex versus Baby Shark. I'm sorry, Vortex. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kurama. I love you. And Loker. And Rex Alice. Who else? I'm sorry, I don't know you, Jungler. And the other guy. iGlory. Sorry, the new bench. So, Vortex versus Baby Shark. Baby Sharks look like a god team. I feel like they match up against Vortex extremely well. I feel like the jungle difference this series is going to be massive, especially the mid jungle difference. Synergy is insane. I don't know who's going to be even playing mid on Vortex. We've seen Kurama come back recently. I'm not entirely sure. If Sandillion plays, they can steal some games, but I feel like this is the most lopsided quarterfinal match of the two. The differences in the team style and the cohesiveness they have is palpable, especially over the games that Baby Shark plays. They look really smooth. They transition their leads out of lane very effectively, and they usually get those leads in lane very effectively. They play around macro objectives very cleanly. I think the rotations that they have between their players is well executed because of overrate shot calling, and I feel like even though Loker swapped to support to be a more effective shot caller, I don't think his transition to the role itself has been smooth. We've seen a good performance on Pyke, seen a good performance on Brand, but the consistency isn't there, and iGlory needs that help on the support to get to the point where he can carry. He needs to be able to scale up on those late game picks that he's so good at. He's so good at Tristana. He's so good at Jhin. We haven't seen that much. He's very good at Jinx. He's good at Zaya. You know, those champs sort of need like three items to get going. So there's only so much I can put my eggs in the Vortex basket before I'm gun shy. I'm pretty sure I predicted them to finish second seed even. So I was really excited for Vortex going into the season, and even through the season I held faith. But I feel like Baby Shark is so dominant, and Vortex is still struggling to find that team identity that I can't put them anywhere more than taking a game at most. So I'm gonna put the solid 3-0 for Baby Shark. Let's continue. Semifinals. So if the results happen like the way they do, that means the semifinals would be the Sad Boys versus Sentinels and Yeehaw 5 versus Baby Shark. So let's go on to that now. So this is how I think my team will fare against Sentinels. I feel like this is for a couple of reasons. The first is Sentinel's bot lane did not have a easy time in the 2v2 against the Sad Boys. And the teams that Sentinels crushes are the teams that the 2v2 bot lane can flourish in effectively. I feel like that's the first point that's worth it to make. However, with their newly upgraded roster in Karaoke, we might see a turnaround in their performance. Karaoke's first series was against us, so I'm sure there were communication issues that were inhibiting him from performing at his best, and also Sentinels from performing at their best. But I think the differences between jungle, especially, is going to decide this series. I really do like Piki Lote. I think he's a really nice guy and a really respectable person, but I don't see him ever out jungling Seathor because Seathor has looked consistently excellent on a plethora of picks. And really, the only thing that I've seen Piki Lote hard excel at is his Nocturne, which has done well, especially when paired with Pickaxe Gallia. But I'm struggling to see how Piki Lote is going to be able to leverage that against the champ pool and the tools that the Sad Boys has to deal with that. So I'm predicting that this won't be a clean sweep. This is going to be a +1 -1 sort of situation. It could be a 3-0, there could be a 3-2, but I'm settling on the 3-1 because I feel like S&T's cohesion is good, but once they fall behind in a series, I don't know if they'll be able to come back. I'm worried about their ability to keep their composure and continue to play their game that they've practiced so much over the split. When it works really well. But if it starts to fall through the cracks, it feels like there's not much else they can fall back on. So I think that Sad Boys will take the semifinal series 3-1. So next is the hardest series to call, which is Vortex. Nope, sorry, Vortex, you're out. It's Baby Shark versus Yeehaw 5. And I honestly went back and forth so much on the series because I had no idea who would win. And it feels like no matter what, it could go either way depending on the day. So I said that Baby Shark would win 3-2 against Yeehaw 5. Sorry, I don't have the Yeehaw 5 thing. I don't know if there was ever one made. So there's still Guardians of Prophecy Cup. Rest in peace, Little Group, and Hash Slinging Hashlers. And interesting enough, actually, Hot on Blake is from GPC, but I picked BBS for the upset. I think that the number 3 seed will take off the number 2 seed, and here's why. Let me take a little sip as I give this controversial upset. And I'm sure I can hear like Nahor and Kiyoshi going like, "Oh my God, Vaughn just is tired of the IRL sluts. Like he just can't ever see us winning." No, I obviously do see you guys winning in this series. It feels like a coin flip. Honestly, I feel like these teams have such unique strengths in the sense that other than Sentinels, Baby Shark looks like a well-oiled machine, and Yeehaw 5 looks like the best mechanical team in the league overall. Top difference, obviously on the side of Yeehaw 5. Even though they're both gold top laners, Kyoshi is by far and away a superior performer. And if they take away Sion from Provely, I don't know what he'll play. And I feel like no matter what he plays, Kyoshi can match that easily in lane. If top lane gets left on an island, that's going to turn into a shark infested island. And Kyoshi is the shark in that situation. Jungle, jungle is really fascinating. Very fascinating. Um, True. They did lose to Busaders. True. They should be 3-0'd, actually. Busaders are gods. Yeah. Jungle is super fascinating because Knight of the Zed and Overate are both sick. I think the top 3 junglers are really all close in skill. I think they all are insane players. I think they're probably, if I had to give a top 10 players in peak up, all 3 of them would be in the top 10. I should have done that. Shit, that would have been interesting. Damn it. I'll think of that for next time. But I think Knight of the Zed and Overrated are sick. I'm just gonna leave it at that. If the Kentucky strikes, though, he is definitely at a disadvantage. Mid lane, Baby Shark 100% has the advantage. I love you. I love you, Blake. You know, you and I, we have the bro bond, but Hamlet's looked like a god this season. Seriously, he's looked insane. Hamlet's looked absolutely nuts, and unfortunately, Blake has not always looked consistent. I touched on their performances already, so I'll leave it up to that. The bot lane is an interesting phenomenon because if Baby Shark is able to take control of the bot lane, they should win every time. Because, like I mentioned, if Socratic can't scale out of lane with those late game ADCs, except for he busted out the Draven. I will say he busted out the Draven recently, which I was hype as fuck to see. But Afro is the better support of the lane, and the lane that he likes to play is a kill lane, which favors the side of Baby Shark as well, because if he can just get Socratic behind off his picks off Thresh, maybe we'll see the Pike. Hopefully they don't pick up Morgana because that champ's resident sleeper, but they might pick it away because Nahor loves that champ and is very good at that champ. But if he's able to get either of his ADCs ahead, the 5v5 prowess that Baby Shark has in peeling and setting up for, Astrus on something like Sivir or Kaisa, I just feel like he can go to town on the back line and the front line without getting touched. So I picked Baby Shark to win this series. Anyway, we'll see what happens though. It's the closest series. I have no idea who will win. So then I didn't do the third place match. I just went straight to the finals. And obviously I said that we would win. Uh, I mean, bias. Not to sound like DTS with GBC last year, but if you remember in playoffs, the last split when I were doing predictions, I actually predicted my team to lose IRL Sluts. I thought that we were the weaker team in that series. I don't think that I am on the weaker team in this series. Granted, we haven't played Baby Shark since week 1 and also plans, so I'm actually really excited if they make it to the finals like I predicted because I have no idea what'll happen. I have absolutely no idea. It's been so long. Both the teams look completely different. The roster for Baby Shark is pretty much the same though, as opposed to ours has had some slight adjustments. But I think that Afro and I match up really well together. I really like landing against him. It feels so fun. I think that he and I are very close in ability, and I really enjoy playing against him. I think he's super good. I also think Thresh will be pick ban in this series, which is so funny. Like that's not a priority champ, but we're both gonna want to play it in style on the other, which I think is so fun because I beat his ass with it last time, and he beat my ass with it in plans. So otherwise, mid lane, I think Xander is criminally underrated. I say that as I didn't even put him in the top three, so that might seem a little hypocritical, but I think Xander has the ability to play equal with, if not greater, than any other mid laner in the entire league. I stand by that to the day I die. That's why he starts. A lot of people thought that when I picked up DTS, especially some members of Yeehaw, I remember messaging me and they're like, "Oh, like they messaged Xander too, lost in rotation." They're like, "Oh, it sucks for you. You're gonna get benched." And no, he did not, obviously, because I think he plays with me really well. I've known him for a long time, and we've never had the chance to actually play on a team, and I've really enjoyed doing that. I think he's very flexible. Galio God, by the way, actually smurfs on Galio. I hope he locks it in every time. Please don't ban it. I force him to pick it. But otherwise, he's busted out Oriana. He's busted out Assassins. He's busted out Victor before Victor was broken, so it's cooler. Jungle matchup, really close. Seathor versus Overate. Finally, I can stop watching them fucking go at it. Like the sexual tension between their like jungle animosity is almost palpable. I feel like if they just hate fucked, I wouldn't have to watch them like measure their dick length against each other every day. It's like I'm the better jungler. I'm the better jungler. Calm down. Just settle it in playoffs. So hopefully we run into each other then, so that can actually happen, and then better jungle wins because that's the rule. And then top lane, Omni is a god. Sorry, Provely. Probably, I think you're really good for your points, but I'm gonna hype Omni up to the day I die. Omni is fucking sick. So yeah. Also, Sion's pick ban. Both those guys are monsters at Sion. So I'm expecting if Baby Shark makes it to finals, Sion's pick ban. So yeah, there's the final bracket. I don't know why our bracket is organized like this, but it is the way it is. That's pretty much just summarizing what I've predicted without the game tallies. So there's the complete player prediction. By the way, I didn't know how to really do this. So if you were looking at the main document around like 4:20 or like 4 o'clock, you would have noticed me deleting everything and writing in the results and then control Zing because I'm scuffed and I didn't really think of a better way to do it. And I screenshotted it. So anyway, sign monsters in the top lane for the finals. Uh, Now we've reached the end of what I prepared. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Also, I didn't check. Oh, message from Nahor. Hey, do you want to look at this? Guys, let's see what Nahor said. You still doing it? I just got home. Yes. Hey, what the fuck is this, Tori? Oh shit, council. It's leaked. Oh wait, I thought we were in council. This is council chat. Hey everyone, it's council chat. Um, Tori, what the fuck? Anyway, so if you have anything that you want to chat with me about, oh wait a minute, Yangsu's in here, boys. Let's hear from Yangsu. Let's hear from my boy Yangsu. Yangsu, what's up?
Uh, hey.
All right, what do you want to talk to me about?
Uh,
What's your topic of conversation?
uh,
Okay, sorry, you
yeah.
needed to have one. Come back when you have one. Okay, anyone else that has a thought out conversation to have about something that I've said, feel free. My question is, can we both not play Morgana in the finals? Sorry, no. I can neither confirm nor deny we are planning to pick Morgana. But yeah, seriously, debate me. Like, I saw you guys chirping in chat. Oh, Nahor joined. How do you expect Baby Shark to beat EO5? I just explained that, Nahor. What the fuck? I just explained that. That was literally the past 5 minutes. So obviously you think your team's gonna win. So give your argument. Don't private. You're unmuted. You're unmuted. Don't type. You're unmuted. Hello, Nahor. Speak to me. Okay, we're 0 for 2. Okay, you can come back when you have your mic. Afro's here. That's someone I really want to talk to. What's up, pal?
Let's go!
Let's get this bread. All right, Afro. What do you want to talk to me about? What's your
Let's talk
topic?
about how we're gonna beat EHAW 5 for the essentially
Oh,
second
actually,
game in a
how about
row.
you and Nahor talk it out? So you can go first because you're the support, and then Nahor can go. So give your 2 cents, Afro. I'll mute here.
We essentially 3-0'd in a best of 3 versus EHAW 5. Because game 2 we just fucked up at killing the base. Let I think it was Twitch or the mid laner just kill us, and then we lost. And then game 1 and 3 we just destroyed them.
All right, bet.
No, we won.
I really enjoy the lack of argument, but stating the facts. That is what it is.
Oh,
I
Andy's
respect
here,
that.
let's go.
All right. Hopefully everyone can hear you well. By the way, I'm gonna mute Nahor now for his chance to speak. Nahor, thoughts on Afro?
So Afro, you guys beat us when I wasn't on the team. So what I brought on this team has been communication and comfortability. So I don't know
Fuck.
if your bot lane can beat our bot lane at the moment. I mean, I respect you as a support. You're pretty good, but I would say me and Secretic are better than you and Rhino. And then Kyoshi's been destroying top lane, and then Blake's just been a solid mid lane, and then I'm pretty sure Zed can beat up or at least go even with over eight. So I mean I don't see how you guys can beat us now.
Was Socratic on AD carry?
It's a credit kid, yeah.
Oh, you guys were playing like four guys and Socratic trying to win the game, and then we were like, okay, well we'll kill Socratic, and then we won.
Yeah, but that was when I wasn't playing.
All
I mean,
right.
I'll give you that. Whoever the old support was, I can't remember who they played because I didn't value them as a person.
All right, I'm
Yeah,
gonna quickly
respect
chime in
that.
here. I'm gonna quickly chime in to briefly interrupt. I'd like to now play a small clip of the last time that Nahor tried to tell another support that he would beat them in a series. Let's listen in. Let's all listen in.
Next week we got Vaughn. Just a little shout out. I'm gonna dick you so long, so hard. Okay, I
Vaughn,
just want you.
stop.
I want you to just visualize that how big my penis is. Okay, I want you to just
Oh
think
my god.
about it. And it's hairy. I got a few
Oh.
penis. I got a few hair on my penis. But you know what? It's gonna be in your
Okay.
mouth, and you're just gonna just swirl it around your mouth. Okay.
Oh no.
All right,
Oh,
so
that ages so well.
all right, so we all heard that, right? Just wanted to make sure. Let's see. Let's
Next
see.
week we got
Uh,
Vaughn. Just a little
proof
shout out.
proof of win.
I'm gonna
Proof of win. Here we go. Let's
wait,
let's
wait,
check
hold
this.
on,
Ah,
hold on.
yes. Zerath's support. Ah,
All right,
yes. Ah,
hold on,
yes. Oh wait,
hold
that
on.
wasn't even you. You were Bad Boys. Hey, we like
Yeah,
2-0'd you. All
exactly.
right.
I
Anyway.
was I was playing on Bad Boys, so I mean it was a lot harder on that
Ah,
team than it
yeah,
is
because
now.
Bad Boys suck is what you're saying, isn't it? You're saying Bad Boys
No,
suck.
no, Bad Boys. Charlie is good.
Oh, ah, Charlie is good. You hear that, Bad Boys? Don't worry, Charlie is good. You guys don't suck. Charlie is good. Okay, I'm gonna mute Hamlet because he's been here for a while now. I want to hear what he has to say now. Hamlet, what's up, pal? Let me hear it.
Yeah, I was gonna chime in with the EHL 5
All
series.
right, bet.
Whenever Afra said we actually 3-0'd them. Game two, one of the team fights, I actually crashed like middle of the team fight, and we actually
Oof,
just straight lost the team fight off of it.
oof,
When I think we would have like won game right there.
oof. That's
And I
rough.
think like game two and game three, we actually just went down like 10k gold at 10 minutes, and we still just won. Like we're not gonna do that this time around. So I think it'll be like an easy 3-0, 3-1.
Okay, so I really enjoy the lack of like anything and just being like, yeah, we're better than you. Like that's fucking sick, right? Like throw your dick around. But how about I ask you guys some real questions? So let's start with Baby Shark because there's two of them. So you guys say you are going to win, but what's the difference between your two teams that makes you in your eyes the better team? Like why are you the better team? Why are you going to win? What's the real difference? Like what is the difference in play? What's the difference in strategy? What are you going to do that they're not going to do well? Like give me something of substance here. I want to know exactly why Yeehaw 5 is not superior to Baby Shark.
I think you're trying to get us to leak strats. That's what I think.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
think I'm gonna say something that or Afro once said to overrate about me is that like I'm like a gathering storm player, right? Like every like 5 or 10 minutes I just like double in power, and I think that they really can't close out games very well quickly, and I think that whatever champion I'm on, be it Ori or Kennen or any of the other many picks that I've played, I'm just gonna end up carrying a team fight, whether it be 1v9 or 5v5 with overrate on some champion that just somehow like
Brain dead, all
you don't
jugglers.
yeah you don't believe in him. Like you're like, all right, he's like this '06 Kha'Zix, and then he like one shots the AD carry or something. So I think that even if you hard tilt overrate and you like get a huge lead, we'll just pull it back through team fighting.
All right. How about you, Nahor? So, I mean, obviously they said whatever they said, whatever, right?
Hmm.
As the support, as the two-time peak up champ, by the way. Who are these randoms, by the way? Randoms, by the way. Two-time peak up champ. Why are you guys gonna win instead?
I think we just match up very well with them in every like role. I mean, I think they've been doing team fights very well, and their lanes have been pretty solid. But I think our lanes are just better, and they want to fight all the time, which I think we'd be better at that early on. And just like they explained that they're down early and then they have to win later on. Well, I mean, I think we've as a team have gotten better, and Kiyoshi, which is he's currently a plat 5 top laner now, but I mean he's plays like a D3 since he beats up on Rexalis, which he's D3. Well, he's going against a gold 3 top laner in Pro Valley, whatever you guys top laner is, and I think that's going to be a huge mismatch.
All
So I
right.
mean, Pro Valley plays tanks, right? So
Yeah.
All
that's
right,
just
so
All right, that's fair.
so I think
Wait. Sorry. That's all the time you guys get for now because we've talked
Mhm.
about this topic, and if I want to hear other people trash talk, I can't listen to you guys all night. But you're free to continue this conversation in the caster box. So anyone else that wants to talk, feel free to join if you want to shit talk or anything. Oh, Nick joined and left. All right, Yangsu, do you have something you want to say now?
Frick yeah, dude.
All right, let's hear it.
Um, why? Never mind. I don't got anything. I'm trying to get the plat. Sorry.
Jesus fucking Christ, Yangsu, get out. Dear Lord. All right, we've got two more baby shark. God, you guys are just like circle jerking it over there, huh? Like literally, I'm like, hey, does anyone want to talk? And nobody shows up, and then all of baby shark just odd flexes. All right, let's hear what my boys Overrate and Nick have to say. The homies and Fug. Fug's in here too. Wow, I thought he was dead. All right, let's unmute everyone.
Yeah, I'm
Hey,
alive.
welcome,
Hey.
welcome, Baby Shark
Alright.
members alike. What are you here to chat with me about? Talk to me,
All right.
challenge, change my mind.
All right, you go first, boy. You
No,
go
no,
first.
no. I'll let you. I got you. I
All
got
right,
a
all
lot
right,
to
all
say.
right. Listen, I got some secrets planned. All right.
Oh
You
shit!
guys ain't even. You think I'm just some shitty Scion one trick top lane? I'm gonna dick this kid. He's gonna get
Fuck.
fucking smashed. You think
Sixth
he's
router,
better
by the
than
way.
the
Sixth
gold
router.
3? I'm gonna destroy him. Help me on that. That bitch is gonna
Fixed
go.
router.
dirt.
Fixed router, by the way.
All right, have fun, guys. I'll see you later.
That's fucking hype as shit. All right, you heard
Yo,
it
that's
here.
my team.
Provly is going to dick down Kiyoshi. You can quote him on that. That's what he
expected.
said. Yeah.
Expected.
So there's your Twitch clip, everyone. Let's see if that ages well. All right, what's up,
Oh, it
Overrate?
will. Oh, I just had to say that anything said by the other team we're gonna have to play is wrong.
Ah,
It's gonna be really
'Cause-
awkward if Baby Shark doesn't make it to the actual quarters now.
Oh,
since
it's
we spent,
fine.
like,
We'll
half
get
the top
3-0'd by a
showing it.
vortex.
Oh yeah, true. That'll just be like the most awkward upset on the planet, and then that way the new IRL sluts. Wait, that's actually the prophecy because they have to stop Vortex and semis. Wait, you're just doomed
It's
actually.
okay. Vortex is just gonna hard 3-0 us. But if we do play against Nahor, it'll be an easy win. Just like in the finals of season 4, whenever I like hard carried but single handedly and shut down their enemy team and made the whole team fucking disband.
Oof.
Ooh,
Oof.
that'll happen. Same
Ooh,
thing
Nahor
this time.
quickly joins back, but
I'm gonna make their whole team disband again. Watch
yeah.
this.
All
Calling
right.
it.
Thanks for coming in. All right, Fug, what's up? What do you want to chat with me about?
All right. Hypothetically speaking,
Yeah.
if Crusaders made it to semis
God.
or quarters or whatever, do you think there's any team we could actually beat?
5th or 6th seed. Yes, I do. I think
Wait,
you
you're
could beat
asking what
Vortex or
easy,
Bad
you're
Boys.
saying we could beat either of them?
I think you could beat either of them. I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. Everyone else, no. But if you had your absolute best combination of players, which means you'd have to have Mead back from Baby Shark, which wouldn't happen. But even if you did, yeah, I think you could beat Bad Boys or Vortex in a best of 5.
But you thought our best team was with me?
No, I think your
No,
best
with
mid
Mead.
laner that you've
Sorry.
had is
Okay,
Mead.
I think our best team, which we actually never played with, was when we had Ty top lane and I was benched. But he fucking dipped to playing collegiate before, like the day before our first game that we were gonna play with him top and Mead mid. Unluck.
True. All right, that's fair. No matter how far in the season we'll always get, Boosters will remain in our hearts. All right, that's fair. Our Nahor's back. Let's see what Nahor has to say. Nahor, what's up, gamer?
Hello.
What do we
All
got?
right. So I was listening. I was talking to Overate.
Yeah, okay.
So I was telling him, if he does manage to just literally dismantle us like he did against us in season 4, I believe, I'll be impressed because he's going against Night of the Zed compared to Soto 1. So, but I don't think that'll be the case. I think
You
I
heard that,
think
Soto? You're garbage. That's what Nahor just said. God, so
you're
glad
my
he's not on
homeboy
team.
though. I love you, Soto, but yeah.
Yo, to be honest, okay, I guess we did have bans against Yeehaw, so we just like banned out all Zed's champs, but somebody just played literally both teams back to back. Fucking Overrate was taking cheeks across the map. It was actually nuts. He literally just walked around killing every single lane. So I felt like
Hey,
his like solo early pressure is like actually unmatched from like
but wait,
them.
wait, but we had Warpack and Puff when we played you guys.
I mean, yeah, I'm just saying like just solo jungler perspective though.
I guess so.
I mean, yeah, but at the end of the day, Warpack is fucking terrible, so it's like hard to win when he's on your team. So, I mean, you got to give it to him, right?
Yikes.
But true, Boostaders 2-0'd fucking Yeoh 5, which trash cans. One win for each of the seed numbers that they have. I mean, other than that, Fog, I'll actually ask you because this fucking originally was your show before you disappeared to grad school or whatever. What's your pick'ems for
Congratulations.
playoffs? Seriously, like what are no meme pick'ems, like predictions for quarters, semis, and finals? Because I remember you did really well with your predictions last season, and you predicted the champions to lose in quarterfinals to the low seeded team. So I got to hear the round two on this one. Fog, hit me
All
with
right, a
it.
second. Let me open up everything so I can take. I don't get any of the matchups around.
Oh, I'm just saying, pal. You can. I guess it's on the main dock. I was about to say I can bring up my
Yeah, I'm opening up my
1v9.
doc right now.
Fucking whatever. Let's just have
Okay,
this
okay.
first team up.
Sentinels versus Bad Boys. I think with Sentinels' current roster, they're gonna beat them. I think. I don't think it's gonna be that close. I think Sentinels are gonna like 3-1 Bad Boys. Baby Shark versus Vortex. I agree with you. I think Baby Sharks are probably just gonna like destroy. I think Vortex is kind of down and Baby Sharks are looking like really up right now. So probably Baby. I don't know how many games Baby Sharks are gonna win in though. Is the only thing. I think Vortex's like main win condition is basically like Sandillion Rexalis like and just like hard split pushing the game or something. I don't know, but if they don't like hard pop off in those lanes, then it's gonna be hard. And I think that Baby Shark just does a good job of letting. Okay, when we played against him, I know it was a sub, but it was like or was it a sub top when we played against him? I'm trying to think. Maybe it's just a different account, but he literally just did the inting sound strat and just smashed into turrets until someone killed him over and over again until the game was over and they won anyways. So like, I feel like whatever you do against that man is irrelevant because he just doesn't give a fuck. So I don't know. I just it's really hard to get an advantage against someone that just literally just run it down into you and doesn't care for your like pressure basically, and they just play around him. So I don't know. I think Baby Shark probably gonna win. And
Okay.
then what would be it'd be Sentinels versus Sad Boys, Baby Shark versus Yeehaw 5. I think probably gonna be Baby Shark beating Yeehaw 5. Like okay, the main thing I think is I think Yeehaw 5's either gonna 3-0 them and just like
What?
stomp them, and Baby Sharks are gonna like hard tilt. Or I think if it's actually like a close, like drawn out series, I think Baby Shark's probably gonna win like the long con game
I'm the best.
So
All right.
you're saying that
because
Yeehaw 5 has a
yeah,
higher
All
potential?
right. I don't care.
I think that Yeehaw 5 is a very like early game like snowball oriented team that, and I also think that your guys probably have slightly worse like long term mental if the game goes to 5 games. So that's why I think if it actually goes late, that Baby Shark are gonna win. So I'm gonna predict Baby Shark, but it's basically like I think Baby Shark's gonna like 3-1, 3-2, or Yeehaw 5 is gonna like 3-0 them, and then Sad Boys versus what is it, fucking Sentinels?
Yes.
Who the hell? Sentinels just made a bunch of changes. Is that actually in the thing in the rosters? I'm trying to remember. Or is it just? Oh, never mind. They just added a shit ton of subs. Didn't actually change anyone. Jesus Christ, they have a lot of subs. Uh, Yeah, I don't know. Hmm. It's hard to say because Sentinel's playstyle is really weird actually because none of their like laners besides like bot lane maybe are like that crazy, but they just play like really good like mid game team fighting comps and just play around each other really well. Assuming that for once in the past like several weeks, Sad Boy's actual starting roster all shows up, you guys should probably win. I think it'll be like a 3-1 or something, just
All right.
because
Call right now, Fug. Call right now because I'm gonna end the stream soon. I want other people to call. Who wins the whole thing?
who wins the whole thing? Um, hmm. I think
And then say the games. Who's in the finals and who wins it? in the number of games
All
played.
right, I think the finals will be Baby Shark versus s.a.d.b.o.i.s, and I think s.a.d.b.o.i.s are probably gonna win. So same as
Hey,
you, I guess.
hey,
Kind
that's
of
what I like to
boring,
hear. All right, thanks for coming
but
on, Bug.
yeah.
It's time for me to listen to another member of the Goth Boy clip. A sub on the Student Athletes Demonstrating Brilliant Organizational Inspiration. It's DTS Mid. What's up, Brody?
You can't see me, but I'm dabbing furiously right now.
Yeah, you are. Hey, what do you want to talk about, pal? What's your topic?
All right, so
Give me.
somebody wanted to rank the best mids, and I think that's pretty interesting. Like best mid jungles, because those are probably the players I've had the most experience playing versus, right? Both
True.
like this season and previous seasons.
That's fair.
And I think like I'll go through just like top 5. I think, in my opinion.
Sure.
I think number 1 mid laner in the league is probably Charlie. I think there's no like I don't know what you think if you think Charlie isn't the best mid in the league, right? It's Charlie. He draws a million bans, still pops off like every game. Like you can't give him Irelia. He's a fucking beast at Xerath. Like he pops off on like random garbage that he'll just pick one time, and he'll just like crush you.
Yeah,
right?
like Camille Mid. One time he just went like 12 and
Yeah, I
like
mean-
so it was Camille Mid. Like what the fuck is that?
Exactly. Sometimes he'll just shit on your mid laner, right? Like it's just I don't see any other mid laner that's like even remotely close to Charlie, right? And then I'd say either like Hamilton or Hardhoof, probably second. Hamilton's better team fighting. I just have such an issue putting Hamilton second because it's like when I watch him play, it just feels like he's griefing. Like I just watch him lane, like he averages less CS per minute than Chandler.
yeah. Yeah.
How is it possible? How do you average 6.7 CS per minute as a mid laner? You just sit in your lane like 90% of the game. Like just clear waves. Like what are you doing? But I think he's a good team fighter. But I think he gets hard carry above rate like 90% of the time. And then what third? Like I said, like Hardhoof probably, if not better than Hamilton. Fourth, dude, I don't want to put Babs in top 5. He's gonna clip it.
Yeah, true. It's fucking like harem of Twitch clips. By the way, guys, I don't know if you ever noticed, but one time we found every time Babs has a good performance, swear to God, he has like 20 Twitch clips every time. Like he clips the whole fucking series.
Crazy.
I swear to God, go back and look at the clips on the channel. He has like 10 a game. It's actually insane. This man's ego is through the roof.
If I say that was like a nice Syndra stun.
Yeah, clip like 1v9 Syndra player. The leftover lads can suck my dick. They're useless without me. Babs2424 doesn't play solo queue.
I say like in Twitch chat once. I'm like, wow, that was a nice Syndra stun. He clips it like, huh?
Yeah.
What is it? Dude, honestly, it's a miracle. Dude, it's a miracle. It's a miracle teams don't know how to like. I guess all the mid laners just suck or something, but like I just feel like it shouldn't be that way. But it is. I think Babs is probably top 5, and I think the other mid laner is probably like COD. I'd say Centillion probably, but I don't even know if he's been playing for Vortex. Like I'd say Centillion 4. I think he's probably better than Babs. And then like junglers, like Chandler, obviously number 1, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's clear.
It's like Chandler, like not even close. Like I actually don't even feel like it's close.
Yeah.
And I'd say like probably Z2, like over 8-3. Other junglers, man. All the other junglers are kind of like griefers, to be honest with you.
You heard it here.
Like I don't know. I just can't see like. It's a miracle. Like, dude, I watch players. Like, if you watch Baby Shark games, dude, I dare you. Go in all their VODs. Look where over it paths. I will guarantee you, pretty identical clears every time, and he just runs into the jungle. And the miraculous thing is that no laners stop him. His mid laner won't have priority, and he'll just invade. It's crazy. Like, it's bonkers that people like get away with this shit. Like, you just collapse on him.
Oh, what do you want it to do?
Crazy.
Yeah, that's completely
Yeah,
fair.
I mean, I think Overrate's not a bad jungler. I just think his pathing is like super troll, but nobody punches him, so it's like fine. Right? And then the rest of the junglers, I have no fucking clue who's like remotely good.
All right.
Japan, just 'cause of
Yeah, Japan's nuts. I think before the stream then, let's unmute everyone, and let's see. We'll just shortly unmute everyone here.
I think Pro muted himself.
Oh, I forgot you have that power.
You're high.
All right.
No, I'm not.
All right, we're shutting down the stream, so get in your last shots while you can.
Every game.
Okay, I
Oh, let's
respect
talk
that. I
about
respect
And
that.
I know where the enemy
Enthusiasm.
jungler is 90%
Cross
of the
Scuttle
time.
invade. Like, dude, it's just collapse on you.
Wait, they can't.
What do you mean they?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Mid lane is.
Oh. No. Oh, you. If you, it's actually funny. We just.
All right.
Good actually.
Yeah, Dark. I tell you, she's pretty good as a girl.
Hamlet's not muted by us.
All right, lads. I think it's
Are we?
time. I feel like an appropriate amount of trash talk and analysis has been had from the audience. Anyway, that concludes
Wait, by the way,
the.
Baby Shark's gonna win finals.
All right, bet.
Eh,
In some universe,
yeah.
that's not this one
you
potentially.
gotta win semis first, buddy.
Yeah, that's not
Relax.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
Anyway.
playing
Relax.
against Yeepaws 5. Yeepaws 5 isn't gonna
Yeah.
win.
All right. They're not shutting up. Anyway. Yeah. This was the all new talk show with team rundown, fun awards, production value. By the way, this actually took so long to do. Suck me off for this, by the way. Like, it looks like super basic, but I'm not fucking man walrus. This was so hard. Hey, shout out to Chandler helping me make these. Thank you, Chandler. And predictions. So yeah, feel free to clip anything when an upset happens or I get something wrong. If you want any of my corgi gifs or YouTube playlists, PM me. I love corgis. Yeah. So that's it. I'm really tired now. So I'm gonna go. Yanks is really close to the plat. Honestly, if he hits plat, I'm gonna be fucking blown away. There's no way he gets it. But yeah. So that's gonna be all from me. So I'm gonna casually transition. Fuck. Where's this? I don't know where my ending slide is, so it's just gonna be the stream starting soon. Yeah. Now you can listen to some relaxing Chopin as the stream ends. So thanks for tuning in. I might do this again. Maybe. We'll see. Also, a lot of the stuff I was going to write my article about, I talked about here, so I don't know if I'm going to do that anymore. I'm planning to interview all the captains of the teams that didn't qualify for playoffs and ask them what their plans are and a couple other questions about how they thought the season was going. I may or may not do that after this week once playoffs are underway that I can release it once playoffs are over. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you all. I didn't put in this work for nothing. That's gonna be it. I will be signing off. It is everyone's least favorite council member, Vaughn. Peace.